Welcome in to Outkick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. Outkick the Show is presented by Oddshark. Go to Oddshark for all of your gambling and informational related needs. I also want to encourage you, if you are in the business of needing a mortgage, you need to go get hooked up by my friends at The Home Loan Expert, Ryan Kelly and crew. If you need a mortgage, pay attention. Go to thehomeloanexpert.com. Whether you need a mortgage, you need a refi if your rates are too high, or of course, if you need to get pre-qualified. Now, shirt game is strong. You can go get your MSESPN shirts, anti-ESPN shirts at Outkick.com. And I am here now, and I'm going to provide a dissection of the Michael Bennett case that is going to be better than you have heard anywhere else. And I want to begin with this. When I was in law school, my criminal law professor, the immortal Don Hall, said the three most important things in any criminal case were as follows: the facts, and the facts. Okay? That's all that mattered. Don't focus on the larger universe, all right? Don't focus on whether there are issues between police and minorities. Don't focus on anything else in the universe. Focus on the particular facts of your case, because if you do that, then you are likely to end up in a place where the truth takes precedence. So, I want to begin here. If you're not familiar with this case, I'm going to walk you through it. I'll answer your questions eventually, and I will tell you what exactly happened. Yesterday morning, the sports media came undone when Michael Bennett posted a report saying that he had been profiled effectively because he was black. Here is his opening paragraph that I am reading for you. He says, on Saturday of the night after the Mayweather-McGregor fight, there were hundreds of people who were running because they had thought they heard gunshots in a casino in Vegas. And like many of the people in the area, I'm quoting from Michael Bennett, I ran away from the sound looking for safety. Las Vegas police officers singled me out, pointed their guns at me for doing nothing more than simply being a black man in the wrong place at the wrong time. A police officer ordered me to get on the ground. He told me if he moved my head, if I moved, he would, quote, blow my fucking head off. He also put a gun by my head, according to Michael Bennett. The officer's excessive use of force was unbearable. He thought he was going to die, he says. He kept asking, what did he do? He then says now he knows how it feels to be like Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, etc., etc. And immediately, the sports media loses its mind. Everybody is out there. This thing has been retweeted or favorited over 583,000 times. It has been the lead story all day on virtually every television network about sports, on virtually every sports talk radio show. Everywhere you look, this Michael Bennett story is being covered, and almost no one ever had the willingness to wait and say, okay, hold on a minute. This is one side of the story. Let's see what the other side of the story is. And so as the day progressed, more and more details started to come out. And the first detail that came out was a video that TMZ posted. And that video showed Michael Bennett being arrested. And in that arrest video, you can't see anybody threatening to blow his head off. Can't hear him. And you don't see any gun. Now, it's not a complete video. It's only 50 seconds long. It's up on Outkick. But it's to start to ask the question, I wonder what might have been happening here. I wonder if there might have been something else going on because, again, the arrest video doesn't look out of the ordinary at all. And by the way, it's not an arrest video, it's a detention video. Well, so that goes out there and people watch it. And then later in the day, the Las Vegas police have a press conference and they share a 5-minute video from inside the casino. Now, if you haven't seen this 5-minute video from inside of the casino, I would encourage you to go right now to Outkick.com and click on our top story and go scroll down and watch those videos for yourself. You don't have to hear it from me. You can go watch them yourselves. And inside that 5-minute video, you learn a couple of things. One, The police, as if you had forgotten, were responding to an active shooter investigation. They believed there was someone there with a gun firing shots, potentially endangering people. So as you watch their video, they run in from the street. All of them have their guns drawn, and they bravely work their way through the casino to try and find out if there is anybody in danger there, if there's anybody armed, what exactly is going on. Okay? All of that is out there. You can go to Outkick.com. You can watch this video. It starts about 7 minutes in. I would also encourage you to watch the police officer's press conference where he answers a lot of questions about this case. Okay? Inside of that video, near the end of it, the officers suddenly, and I'm reading from their report now, and you can see all this happen on video. The officers, and I'm quoting, as our uniformed officers entered the casino, they observed Bennett hiding behind a slot machine. When officers turned toward Bennett, he bolted out of the casino, leapt over a 4-foot barrier wall, and hid from officers as he crouched close to the wall on the sidewalk. They continue, I am sure your attorney will tell you our officers had reasonable suspicion, which they certainly did based on this behavior, which is the constitutional standard, to detain Bennett until they could determine whether he was involved in the shooting. Our officers, who are both minorities, interesting considering that Bennett said that they were racist, had the legal right and obligation to detain Bennett based upon the nature of the call and Bennett's unusual and suspicious actions. Our officers did not detain Bennett because he was, quote, a black man in the wrong place at the wrong time. Michael Bennett's claim that our officers are racist is false and offensive to the men and women of law enforcement. We hope you will take appropriate action against Michael Bennett. That is the Police Officers Union statement. Okay? The police also have said there are over 120 videos of this incident that they will be releasing and reviewing. So far, there are 2 different videos out, both of which show Bennett, neither one of which purports to confirm anything that he alleged. So, we, just based on these facts, all right, just based on these facts, we can comfortably say that he lied about at least 2 things. One, that he was detained because he was black. In fact, Bennett's own attorney has admitted that Bennett was not detained because he was black. In fact, I have that linked in the article as well. And again, you can go see all this. The attorney for Michael Bennett says race wasn't a factor in his arrest. And by the way, he wasn't arrested. But lack of probable cause was, and that he may file a civil rights lawsuit. Well, if that's his attorney's argument, it's a bad one because, as this article says, you don't need probable cause, you need reasonable suspicion. If you believe that someone is firing a gun in a casino and someone is hiding behind of a slot machine, and when you approach them, they get up, run away from you, refuse to stop, jump over a wall, and then try and hide from you, it's reasonable to assume that that guy might be hiding something. And so putting him in handcuffs and detaining him for 10 minutes to determine whether or not he might be a threat to the overall safety of all of these people is kind of a big deal. Moreover, when you watch that 5-minute video of the police officers going into the casino with their guns drawn, you will immediately notice something interesting. Almost everyone in that casino at that time is black, meaning Michael Bennett's suggestion that he was discriminated against and pulled out of the equation because he's black doesn't make sense at all, because there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of black people in that video that police are trying to protect from what they believe is an active shooter. The idea that Michael Bennett was singled out because he was black is laughably absurd, so absurd that his own attorney has said there was no race involved in it. He has thrown his own client to the wolves and admitted that there's no truth to it. Yet, I want to ask you this. That is a definite lie from Michael Bennett. Why is this the first place that you are hearing about this story? Because the sports media is protecting Michael Bennett because so many left-wingers in sports media want Michael Bennett to be a victim of police racism. They want the police to have done this to Michael Bennett because he's a black man, not because he's a dude who was hiding behind a slot machine refused to stop, ran from the police, tried to hide from them while they are investigating a shooting in a crowded casino. That, my friends, is a massive, massive part of this story. So we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Michael Bennett has lied about at least one thing, and that is that there is any racial element whatsoever to this case. Moreover, I love that the Las Vegas Police Union put in there the fact that the arresting officers were both minorities. So in order to believe Michael Bennett's theory here, what you would have to buy into is that there is a police shooting, all right? There is a shooting and police are responding to it. Sorry. There's a shooting and police are responding to it. They show up at the casino. When they show up at the casino and they see that there are hundreds, if not thousands of black people fleeing from this alleged shooting, they let all of those black people go, but then they decide, you know what, we're going to stop this one random black guy because we're racist, and even though we're minority cops and we're theoretically investigating a very serious shooting which may have substantial amounts of victims, they then decide to detain Michael Bennett solely based on his race. It's a laughably absurd argument, and every single person who propagated it in the sports media should be obligated to respond to all of their viewers, all of their listeners, and everybody else out there for spreading completely fake lies. Lies from Michael Bennett and giving them the endorsement and imprimatur of their networks and also of their intellectual capital. So we know Michael Bennett lied about race being involved in this story at all. 2, police specifically say they explained why they detained him and that Michael Bennett understood it. How long was he detained? 10 minutes! He was detained 10 minutes for running from police and refusing to stop. Okay, we know both of those are lies. What may be lies? That a police officer threatened to blow his brains out. That a police officer threatened to blow his brains out. We have audio of the arrest. There is no statement like that at all. There are 0 statements from any police officer threatening to blow his brains out. There is 0 evidence that that happened right now. Number 2, also 0 evidence that a police officer held a gun to his head. Now, we do know that all these police officers had their guns out while they were going through the casino. So it's possible that while this officer was chasing Michael Bennett to arrest him, to detain him, he might have had his gun still out because they were responding to an active shooter investigation. And when you've got a potentially active shooter, you don't want to walk in with your damn gun holstered because then you get blown up. All right? So when you go to respond to an active shooter investigation, you go in with your gun out. However, in the still photograph of the video that's released by the Las Vegas Police Department, it appears that the officer that is arresting him has a taser in his hand. Now that would make sense because Michael Bennett is 6'4", 275 pounds. The taser was not used on Michael Bennett, but it appears, according to people who have a lot better knowledge of gun and armaments than I do, that there was never a gun near his head at all. So the only thing in Michael Bennett's letter that is likely to have been truthful is that he was detained by police on the night of the Mayweather-McGregor fight. Everything else is a lie. Why am I the only person that you're hearing this from? You can go read the article at Outkick. I put up the videos. I'm citing all my sources. I'm putting forth all the evidence that's out there. That, my friends, is the truth. Now, the problem, why does this happen? Why does a story like this happen? It's because again and again and again, what did I start by saying? 3 most important things when you investigate criminal law. The facts, the facts, the facts. People don't want the facts. They want a story that fits their worldview. If you believe that the police are awful and racism is troubling and never and all-encompassing and impossible to avoid, then you want there to be blatant racism on behalf of the police. You don't look at the facts. Your brain is clouded by bias, and you want it so desperately to be true that you blow right through all of the facts that you should be paying attention to. We've seen it happen again and again. Duke Lacrosse, the University of Virginia gang rape case, Peyton Manning, Ryan Lochte, and now the amazing story is here The same people who refuse to believe anything that Ryan Lochte said because he was a white guy with white privilege assume that everything Michael Bennett says is true because he's a black guy. If you use that kind of larger global worldview to try to determine whether or not individual circumstances occur, this is my big issue in general, guys, when I talk about, for instance, the Ezekiel Elliott case. My big issue with Title IX and the way that rape cases get investigated is not that rape doesn't exist. It's that you believe that a rape is more likely to have occurred because rape occurs. That's not the way that you decide individual cases. You can perfectly have the right to believe that racism is a lot more prevalent today than people want to acknowledge. That's your right. You can believe it, okay? You can believe that. But that doesn't mean that Michael Bennett's case is likely to be true because of that. You can't allow your global worldview to govern individual circumstances of cases. This is one of the first things you learn when you go to law school. Don't allow your worldview to cloud the facts of an individual case. You have to look at the facts and figure out whether they're likely. And the moment that I saw this case, I said, this case doesn't make sense. Michael Bennett's story doesn't make sense. There's police responding to an alleged shooter, Michael Bennett says, and just because he's a black guy, they decided to detain him. That doesn't make any sense at all. If there's an alleged shooter and there are hundreds of thousands, if not thousands of people in danger, they decide to randomly arrest a black guy, detain a black guy because they're racist? It doesn't make any sense. They're there to figure out if somebody's firing guns, if there's anybody that's been shot. The only reason to detain Michael Bennett is if he did what he did. If he refused to obey officer commands, if he tried to hide from them, if he ran from them and refused to stop and then tried to hide from them. That's why he got detained. That's why he was the guy getting detained, and all those hundreds and thousands of other black people in the casino were not detained because they listened to police. It's amazing. It's amazing how often every issue with the police can be taken care of with simple instructions. Listen to the police, even if you don't agree with them. Even if you're like me and you're a lawyer and you know what they're telling you to do is wrong, just listen to them. You can file a lawsuit later. They have guns. They are in charge of providing protection. They have bad days. They make mistakes. Don't make their job more difficult. Listen to the police. The scary thing about stories like Michael Bennett's and the way MSESPN and all the left-wing media are covering this story is it actually makes it more likely that kids are going to get shot by police because you are telling them don't listen to their authority. You don't have to obey them. They're out to hurt you, and you're sending that message, which makes it more violent, which makes it more dangerous, which makes it more likely that inappropriate and incomprehensibly bad interactions are going to happen between police and minorities. When Michael Bennett says he cares about equality and then he lies his ass off in this story, what he actually does is make the world a worse place and make it more dangerous for everybody out there, police, you, me, minority kids, everybody, because when you don't listen to the police, you create a more dangerous world and country. That's the facts. That's the truth. And this drives me insane, that shitty reporting like this, where everybody just assumes that Michael Bennett's telling the truth, and I'm the only person just about in the entire sports media who will actually look at the facts and figure out what is likely to have happened here and point out that Michael Bennett is a liar. He's made the world a less safe place. If he cares about young minority youths and their interaction with police, his lies have made it more likely that young minority youths are going to die. You talk to police officers. We took tons of calls from them this morning on the radio show from all over the country. And they said there has never been a worse environment to be a police officer on the streets right now than this exact moment. 2017, kids don't respect them. People don't listen to them. And they are not able to do their job and protect people's lives. Is every police officer perfect? No. When police officers make mistakes, just like everybody else, they should be prosecuted They should have to face a jury. They should get charges brought against them. But you shouldn't be lying about police officers like Michael Bennett did. And the NFL shouldn't be coming out and re-endorsing him. And the Seattle Seahawks shouldn't be doing it. And all these other players shouldn't be doing it either. Simply because they believe him because he's black. You know what that is? That's racism. If you believe somebody is telling the truth because of the color of their skin, that is judging somebody based on the color of their skin. That is racism. I don't believe anybody more or less likely based on the color of their skin. I do something crazy. I look at the facts. And when I look at those facts, it's amazing how often they lead you to the right direction. This happens again and again for me, right? How many times have I been right and the mainstream media have been wrong? It's not because, well, partly it's because I'm better looking. Partly it's because my hair's better looking. Partly it's because my brain works better. All those things are true. There's no doubt about it. But it's also because I come to stories without an agenda. I come to stories, especially if they're criminal related, thinking about three important things as I learned in law school years ago. The facts, the facts, the facts, right? If you go to the facts, you leave out agendas, you don't worry about anything else, you look at stories and you can figure out who's telling the truth and who is not. And the fact, again, that people get believed or disbelieved based on the color of their skin, if you don't recognize how biased you are, if you're using whether or not you believe somebody to be telling the truth in any way as a proxy based on the color of their skin, then you need to reconsider everything about your life. Look at the facts, divorce yourself from the individual proceedings, don't consider what you believe in a larger global sense. Look at individual cases, not larger context. And if over and over again, if I see these failings in the media with Duke Lacrosse, why did that happen? Because so many people in the sports media wanted those white guys to have raped that black girl. That's the truth. How did Duke Lacrosse happen? Because so many people wanted those white guys to have raped that black girl that they overlooked all the evidence. Why did UVA happen? Because so many people wanted to believe that there were so many UVA fraternity guys who gang raped a girl that they overlooked the fact that they had no witness. Why did people suddenly, 20 years after a mooning incident, decide that Peyton Manning was guilty of sexual assault? Because they wanted Peyton Manning to be guilty of sexual assault. Why did nobody believe Ryan Lochte? Because they wanted him to be a white privileged guy who was lying. They believed, this is how crazy it is. The same people who don't believe the Las Vegas police believed motherfucking Brazilian security guards over American Olympic athletes. Think about how crazy that is. Ryan Lochte, nobody would believe him. Well, who did they believe? They believed a motherfucking Brazilian security guard who held him up and took money from him. And yet these same people won't believe the Las Vegas police who were on video, minorities on the Las Vegas police staff who, by the way, are showing up at that casino because they have reports of gunshots fired inside and they're trying to protect everybody in the casino, the majority of whom are black. Do you not understand how many lives police save every single day who are minority? Nobody protects more minority lives than the police. The greatest lie that we have been sold in this country in the 21st century is the idea that police are waging war on minorities, and stories like Michael Bennett's, which are blatant lies, help to propagate that myth and make it more dangerous for everybody in this country, police officers and regular citizens as well. I'm fired up about this, as you can tell. My name's Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show, presented by Oddshark. And it's got me riled up because I hate when people propagate lies and when facts get ignored because people want their agendas to govern instead. Okay, what questions do you have? I'd encourage all of you who have watched this to go read Outkick's story, share this video, come listen to our show tomorrow morning, and I will continue to talk about this. Yeah, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem is people decide, well, facts are racist. If facts make you uncomfortable, then that's on you. If your response to an argument you don't like is you're racist or you're sexist or you're homophobic or you're transphobic or whatever it is, you have lost that argument. Just like if right now one of you says something to me and I come back and I say, oh, you're a pedophile. There's no evidence of that, right? Like just mindlessly insulting someone who makes an argument that you can't defeat is a sign of the weakness of your brain, not the soundness of your logic. Yeah, I think Michael Bennett did it because he's writing a book, because he wants attention. You think it's a coincidence that this story comes out the day after MSESPN has a front page story on what a brilliant activist he is? There was a guy at the USA Today who started his article saying, I don't even need to know the facts of this case to know I believe Michael Bennett. What the fuck? Who is his editor? I don't even need to know the facts of this case to know that I believe Michael Bennett? Like, how in the world does that get past an editor? How in the world does somebody have that? I don't even need to know the facts of this case to know that I believe Michael Bennett. What? Are you kidding? Or does your brain work at all? How does that get past an editor? That's my perfect example of what I'm saying. Your worldview has so colored your individual examination of this case that you don't even need to know any of the facts. It doesn't make any sense. Again, I rigorously lay out the facts in that article up on Outkick. I just ran through it here. I just prosecuted the case. Michael Bennett's a liar. And he made the country less safe by lying. And everybody in the sports media who propagated his story without actually diving into it and knowing that he was telling a lie is 100% culpable for the way that our country is going. Making it less safe for police, making it less safe for minorities, making it more likely that everybody distrusts one another. Michael Bennett lied, and the sports media is not calling him on it except for me. You're a lie, bro. Good one. Good one. Really good one. You can accuse me of a lot of things. I have two things going for me. Great hair and fearlessness. I track the facts no matter where they lead me, no matter what people say about me. That's what I do. I have great hair and I follow facts. And people get upset by it. People get triggered. Got a hot wife, healthy kids. Got a lot of good things going for me. Great, thriving business. But it's because there's a huge audience out there craving the truth instead of manufactured bullshit. That's the truth. Great beard. Just an okay beard. Yeah, it's just an okay beard. Love grandmas. Go on Fox News with this. It would be a good story. I'm not sure if Tucker Carlson will have me on. I think they're pivoting all towards the hurricane. So, but that is would definitely possibly be a situation. Killer triceps, not biceps. Disney stocks tanking. All right, I wanted to focus on this. I wanted really to kind of focus on this story. So I think I killed it today. I'm encouraging you to share this show. If you want the actual facts in this case, ask yourself this. And ask yourself why people in sports media are not sharing any of these facts that I'm giving you. It's not complicated. You look for the truth, and you typically will find it. Like I said, when I was in criminal law, when I was in law school, three most important things. The facts, the facts, the facts. It's not the global universe. It's not whether you think cops are mean to black people. It's not whether you believe that sexism is endemic or racism is endemic or anything else. You look at the actual facts of a specific case, and that is how you find your way to justice. And that's exactly what I did. Fact, you're a racist clown. See, the stuff about racism is just, what you guys don't realize, who have been hitting that racist button over and over and over again for a long time, is it doesn't work. At this point, saying somebody is racist is like the boy who cried wolf. Everybody out there can see me every day for 3 hours. They can watch my show every day. If I were racist, I wouldn't talk about black people or white people or Asian people or Hispanic people. I would run from stories involving race. I just don't care what you call me. I embrace it. I bring it on. Whatever insults you want to throw upon me, I take them. And what you'll see is my audience every day grows more because I'm honest. And ultimately, that cuts through everything else. So trying to insult me just proves the weakness of your actual arguments. They don't work. I embrace them. I'm the guy who branded himself a gay Muslim racist on Twitter 8 years ago. You know how in 8 Mile, Eminem got up and insulted himself before the rap battle? Every insult that could possibly be put against me has already happened. And they bounce off now. I'm inoculated against them. They don't work. They just don't because they're not true. And because I just embrace them. Last night somebody said, oh, I see Clay Travis. He's in a KKK outfit. I just retweeted it. Said, I don't have that big of a waist. I should have said I don't wear belts. That's the truth. And you guys can't handle it because you're getting dunked on intellectually over and over and over again. Balls in the face dunked on. Not even just dunked on. Like you're trying to draw a charge and I just put my balls right in your face. and just grab the rim. And a lot of times I hang on the rim. Like right now, I'm hanging on the rim, just posing a little bit. Like how you like this, bitch. I'm smarter than you. I just dunked on you. I'm richer than you. Got a hotter wife than you. Better kids. Better house. And it's only getting bigger, bitch. So, kisses for the critics. I'm Clay Travis. DBAP motherfuckers. Share this show. Get the truth. Trust me. Don't trust the rest of the sports media who aren't telling you the truth. Every day, 3 Eastern. I'll be on tomorrow, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports Radio, 250 stations nationwide. I love all of you. Bang. See you guys.